Welcome to the world where danger lurks in every corner, a realm where power and fear intertwine. The world of gangsters. This is the domain of the notorious and the influential, where rules are bent and lives are gambled in the pursuit of power and wealth. It's a world that has fascinated us for generations, from the silver screen to the gritty pages of true crime novels. Why? Because these are figures who dared to live outside the law, who carved their empires in the shadows, and whose stories reverberate through history. They are the faces of organized crime, the puppet masters of the underworld. Their impact on society, for better or worse, is undeniable. Their names have become synonymous with an era, a crime, a reign. So, buckle up, keep your wits about you, and journey with us as we delve into the lives of the top 5 gangsters of all time. Our chronicle begins in the roaring 20s with a man synonymous with the word gangster, Al Capone. Born of humble beginnings, Capone quickly climbed the ranks of Johnny Torrio's Chicago outfit, seizing the helm when Torrio retired. He was a man of contrast, a brutal leader who wasn't above settling disputes with a baseball bat, yet a modern-day Robin Hood who opened soup kitchens during the Great Depression. The Prohibition era was Capone's golden age. His empire, built on the thirst of the masses, stretched across Chicago. He had politicians in his pocket and law enforcement turning a blind eye. Yet for all his power, it was a simple thing like taxes that brought him down. Despite his notorious deeds and violent reign, it was tax evasion that landed him in Alcatraz. Al Capone, a man who ruled an empire of crime, met his end not in a hail of bullets but in a court of law. Next on our roster is a man who seemed untouchable, John Gotti. Rising through the ranks of the notorious Gambino crime family, Gotti was a figure who embraced his underworld status with unapologetic gusto. His leadership style was bold, brash, and brutally effective. He was not a man to be trifled with. Gotti's charisma was as potent as his ruthlessness, and it wasn't long before he caught the media's attention. His sharp suits, flashy lifestyle, and audacious public persona earned him the nickname the Teflon Don, as it seemed that no charges could stick to him. But even Teflon has its limits. Despite his media fame and seeming invulnerability, Gotti's reign was not to last. The law finally caught up with him, and he was convicted on charges of murder and racketeering. John Gotti, a gangster who reveled in the spotlight, finally found that even Teflon wears off. We now cross borders to the land of Colombia to meet the kingpin, Pablo Escobar. Born into poverty, Escobar's story is a twisted rags-to-riches tale. His ambition led him down a path of crime, eventually establishing him as the world's most notorious drug lord. His empire, the Medellin cartel, was responsible for more than 80% of the cocaine smuggled into the United States. Escobar's influence was vast, his power absolute. His violent methods and intimidating tactics kept him at the top, while his philanthropic efforts earned him the adoration of many Colombians. But every empire has its downfall. As the authorities closed in, Escobar's world began to crumble. His story ended in a hail of bullets in the rooftops of Medellin, a stark contrast to the lavish lifestyle he once enjoyed, a symbol of the destructive power of unchecked ambition and greed. Pablo Escobar, a man who built an empire on fear and cocaine, fell as dramatically as he rose. From the streets of Mumbai, we bring you the story of Dawood Ibrahim, a man who went from being a humble son of a police constable to becoming a feared figure in the underworld. In the 70s and 80s, Dawood Ibrahim's name was synonymous with the Mumbai underworld. His rise was meteoric, and his influence widespread. He built a criminal empire that dealt in everything from smuggling to contract killing, but his most notorious act was the orchestration of the 1993 Mumbai bombings. This act of terror claimed over 200 lives and shook the city to its core. Today, Dawood is a global fugitive, evading the law and living in shadows. Yet his influence on the Indian underworld remains. His name continues to instill fear and command respect among his followers. A man of contradictions, Dawood Ibrahim is both a product and a perpetrator of a world gone wrong. Dawood Ibrahim, a man who orchestrated chaos and still eludes the grasp of justice. Our final tale takes us to the cold climes of Russia, where Semyon Mogilevich rules. Known as the Brainy Don, he's not your typical gangster. His rise to power wasn't paved with brute force, but shrewd intelligence and cunning strategies. Born to a Jewish family in Kyiv in the late 40s, Mogilevich began his life of crime early, running a small-scale money laundering operation. This venture was the stepping stone to his ascension as a boss in the Russian mafia, a world notorious for its ruthlessness and bloodshed. But Mogilevich was different. His weapon of choice was not a gun, but his mind. Over the years, he expanded his criminal empire, not just in Russia, but across the globe. From arms trafficking to prostitution, from drug smuggling to fraud, there seemed to be no crime too big or too small for the brainy Don. His involvement in various global crimes earned him a place on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, a dubious honor that underscores his influence and menace. His most notorious exploit was perhaps the massive fraud scheme through the publicly traded company, YBM Magnex International. The company, which was essentially a facade, was used to launder hundreds of millions of dollars. This elaborate scheme showcased Mogilevich's cunning and audacity, traits that have helped him evade capture and prosecution time and again. Despite his high-profile status as a criminal, Mogilevich has managed to stay a step ahead of the law. Even though he's been arrested multiple times, he's always managed to wriggle free, often due to lack of evidence or legal technicalities. He currently lives freely in Russia, seemingly untouchable by the long arm of international law. Semyon Mogilevich, a man who weaves a web of crime across the globe, remains a shadowy figure in the underworld. His story serves as a chilling reminder that not all gangsters are brutes with guns. Some, like the brainy Don, wield their intellect as their most dangerous weapon. As we step into the digital age, the face of crime is evolving. From the traditional underworld of gangsters and mob bosses, we now enter the realm of cybercrime syndicates. These criminal organizations operate in the shadows of the internet, conducting illicit activities on a global scale. Unlike traditional crime families, these syndicates don't rely on muscle or firepower. Instead, they wield code and algorithms as their weapons of choice. Their leaders are not feared for their physical prowess, but for their intellectual capabilities and their mastery over technology. Their operations span across a wide array of illegal activities, from data theft and ransomware attacks to online fraud and identity theft. These cybercrime syndicates often operate under the radar, their activities hidden behind layers of encryption and anonymity provided by the dark web. Despite their elusive nature, the impact of these syndicates is far-reaching and devastating. In recent years, cybercrime has cost the global economy billions of dollars and has affected millions of individuals and businesses worldwide. The anonymity provided by the internet, coupled with the vast reach of digital technology, has made these cybercrime syndicates a formidable force in the underworld. As we continue to rely more and more on digital technology, the threat posed by these invisible networks continues to grow. In this new age of crime, the battlegrounds are not the dark alleys or secluded mansions, but the vast network of servers and computers that make up the World Wide Web. The cat-and-mouse game between law enforcement and these cybercriminals continues, as both sides adapt and evolve in this ever-changing landscape. As we delve deeper into the digital age, the face of crime continues to evolve, and so does the face of law enforcement. In this intricate game of shadows, it's a race against time to stay one step ahead. As we conclude our journey into the underworld, remember, not all villains wear masks or carry guns. Some hide behind computer screens, their fingers dancing over the keys as they weave a web of crime that spans the globe. Closing. If you've enjoyed exploring the dark corners of the underworld with us, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We delve into the hidden realms of history, crime, and mystery. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That helps out the channel's algorithm. Big salute to all my subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then hit that red subscribe button and subscribe. Peace to all of y'all. Lashing to God. Keep low, you never tell, they'll never know. Stay focused.